Hi, Thumos gentlemen. Welcome back. As you can see, I have the bookshelf next to me. A lot of you guys ask me what I'm reading, what are my favorite books that I recommend to you guys. Let me just tell you this, okay? Pay attention. Every time that you listen to music, every time that you read something, every time that you have a conversation, you walk down the street, there's these constant impressions being made, ding dong, right here along the mind, okay? Everything's kind of plugging you in. It's either plugging you deeper into the matrix or it's pulling you out. It's either making you of a higher mind and to think thoughts that are higher, or it's keeping you at a base level. Okay, so you need to pay attention to this, man. So what does that mean? Well, it means that you have to guard your mind. You have to guard your spirit because the impressions start to impress themselves upon you, and it molds the mind. It molds the way that you think, the way that you view the world, your emotions, the way that you feel on a daily basis. So when you ask me for books, well, you can go into specifics with books. If you're trying to learn how to build a table, well, get a book on carpentry. Okay, trying to learn how to start a business, get a book on business. Get a book on building a brand. But when it comes to getting your mind right, I think that it's very important to start every morning out with something that leaves impressions that are positive and uplifting on your mind. Okay, so I'm going to show you 5 books that you may have never heard of or you probably have heard of, and they have been immensely powerful to me. Okay, the first one is going to be something you probably never heard of in your life. This is a book by Swami Vivekananda. I believe I'm saying his name right. Vivekananda. Okay, you Indian bros, help me out with this. This guy is just a beast. I'm gonna tell you that. Hindu guy, gave speeches in Chicago, came over. I think this was the early 1900s. Could have been before that. Okay, comes over, gives speeches, writes a book. You can get his complete works in the Kindle version for like 99 cents. Listen to this power. First, we have to bear in mind that we are all debtors to the world, and the world does not owe us anything. It is a great privilege for all of us to be allowed to do anything for the world. In helping the world, we really help ourselves. The second point is that there is a God in this universe. It is not true that this universe is drifting and stands in need of help from you and me. God is ever present therein. He is undying and eternally active and infinitely watchful. The whole universe sleeps. He sleeps not. He is working incessantly. All the changes and manifestations of the world are His. Thirdly, we ought not to hate anyone. This world will always continue to be a mixture of good and evil. Our duty is to sympathize with the weak and to love even the wrongdoer. The world is a grand moral gymnasium wherein we all have to take exercise so as to become stronger and stronger spiritually. Fourthly, we ought not to be fanatics of any kind because fanaticism is opposed to love. You hear fanatics glibly saying, I do not hate the sinner, I hate the sin. But I am prepared to go any distance to see the face of that man who can really make a distinction between the sin and the sinner. It is easy to say so. If we can distinguish well between quality and substance, we may become perfect men. It is not easy to do this. And further, the calmer we are and the less disturbed our nerves, the more shall we love and the better will our work be. Very powerful. Just that last sentence. The calmer we are and the less disturbed our nerves, the more shall we love and the better will our work be. This is a strong point. As I'm getting away from caffeine and I'm getting better sleep and I'm getting away from hectic mornings as seen in the morning routine, the monk mode lifestyle, it's more about less of this go, 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 more of slowing down to speed up like a rower. These professional rowers, when they row a boat, if you look at, they're not rowing very fast and very choppy, they're going slow. And what happens is that these long strokes actually help you to speed up in life. And that's the opposite of what a lot of the world is telling us. It's a go, go, go mentality, hype, hype, hype. But I feel that when you're hyped and there's a lot of cortisol, you have very stressful and shallow thoughts. Okay? So keep that in mind. Moving on. Another fantastic book, very small in size, but very powerful in wisdom, is As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. A man's mind be likened to a garden, which may be intelligently cultivated or allowed to run wild. But whether cultivated or neglected, it must and will bring forth. If no useful seeds are put into it, then an abundance of useless weed seeds will fall therein, and will continue to produce their kind. Just as a gardener cultivates his plot, keeping it free from weeds, and growing the flowers and fruits which he requires, so may a man tend the garden of his mind, weeding out all the wrong, useless, and impure thoughts, and cultivating towards perfection the flowers and fruits of right, useful, and pure thoughts. By pursuing this process, a man sooner or later discovers that he is the master gardener of his soul, the director of his life. As a man thinketh, great book, you can find this very cheap. Moving on, like it or not, this book right here, the Bible, is a very powerful book. And I'll just going to share with you one verse coming from Philippians, all the way in the New Testament. Right after Ephesians, we're going to go to Philippians 13. This is 3:13. Starts like this. Brothers, I do not consider that I have made it my own, but one thing I do, forgetting what lies behind and straining forward to what lies ahead. I press on toward the goal for the prize of the upward call of God in Christ Jesus. Powerful, powerful. Speaking, I believe that's Paul. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but Paul speaking to his brother and say, I'm not going to look behind me. I'm going to press forward towards the goal. I mean, that kind of encouragement is huge, especially in these days and age where we don't have many brothers, we don't have a tribe, we don't have people urging us towards a greater goal. Okay, so the Bible is very powerful. If you ever just get one, even if you're not a Christian or you don't go to church, a Bible can be very powerful. Going to Romans, going to Proverbs, reading Psalms, reading that gratitude from King David, just playing the harp and lyre, awake, O my soul, and giving thanks to God. It changes the way your mind thinks. It's less about complaining and bickering. And when you read something like that, you see that you can actually change the way you think. Okay, so that book is extremely powerful, and it's stood the test of time. This one, The Power of Positive Thinking, one of my personal favorites. Norman Vincent Peale. I mean, look at this guy. He's like 80 years old, man. Look at that smile. You know, he's having a good time, dude. Norman. So look at this. This is a great bit of insight. The quantity of vital force required to give the personality relief from either guilt or fear or a combination of each is so great that often only a fraction of energy remains for the discharge of the functions of living. Energy drainage occasioned by fear and guilt is of such an amount to leave little power to be applied to a person's job. The result is that he tires quickly, not being able to meet the full requirements of his responsibility. He retreats into an apathetic, dull, listless condition and is indeed even ready to give up and fall back sleepily in a state of enervation. You guys are going to enjoy this. I have been starting this out as a devotion, okay? When me and the Monk Mode Box group did the ARC challenge, an extreme 30-day challenge, this was one that I recommended to everyone that they read in the morning. Okay, I believe 15 minutes of reading this or any of these books can really take you from a default sort of negative, bitter state and leave you better off for the entire day. All right, and the last book. The first time that I heard about this was on The Art of Manliness, and this is Brett McKay, Mannovationals, okay? The Art of Manliness, Mannovationals, 7 Manly Virtues and Timeless Wisdom. A quick little quote coming from here. You're going to open this book and you're going to be blessed by all of these quotes, by all of these stories, some pictures, okay? I have been through this book through the years. I probably had this for about 7 years now, and I've really enjoyed this book. Here's a quote from James Terry White. It is not necessary for a man to be actively bad in order to make a failure in life. Simple inaction will accomplish it. Nature has everywhere written her protest against idleness. Everything which ceases to struggle, which remains inactive, rapidly deteriorates. It is the struggle toward an ideal, the constant effort to get higher and further, which develops manhood and character. What a powerful quote. I mean, nowadays, you don't see a lot of people saying that inaction breeds decay. It makes you deteriorate. And actually, we have so much social media, and we can just navel gaze and look at and scroll all the whole time. And what does that do? It reinforces the sitting position. It reinforces that mental decay to just be mentally flat. And then our minds are on the same thoughts, the same worries, day in and day out. There's nothing new presented there. It's through action that you break the pattern. Okay, you have to break that negative cycle. And that's a real thing, guys. Too much sitting throughout the day will actually make you just want to sit more and cause a lot of pain, mentally and physically. Okay, so keep aiming high, man. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the books. The Power of Positive Thinking by Norman Vincent Peale. The Art of Manliness, Manovationals. The Bible, the Bible. As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. And on my Kindle, I have the complete works of Swami Vivekananda. All right. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a really awesome weekend. If you have any books that you want to share with our group here, the Mungno Tribe, let them know, and I hope to see you guys very soon. All right? Peace.